A picture of an unbearable noise and a handwritten receipt. Each a record of something that once happened, and each a crucial clue in a true detective story. Tonight we'll follow both professional and amateur sleuths as they track down an alibi for an armed robber and hunt for an unexplained phenomenon that's haunting houseboats. Technology has brought detective work to new heights. Today, if you don't want to be found, don't drop a hair, don't touch anything. And above all, don't make a sound. Beginning in the summer of 1984, Sausalito, California's quiet houseboat community began to feel a strange presence. Every night about dusk, a loud, penetrating drone, heard only inside the houseboats, would begin and continue until dawn. One of its first victims was longtime resident Bill Jones.
It was so bad, there was no way I could sleep. It was a bewilderment. I'm like, where in the hell is this coming from?
The eerie hum was getting to Bill's neighbors as well.
It seemed like it was electronic in nature. It just tends to just come on as if someone's switching on a motor somewhere.
They would wake at all hours, tormented by the relentless sound.
It wasn't happening at all the homes either. It was happening to just a few of us. And then it depended on where you were in the houseboat. If you were down within the hull, it was very loud.
It drives me crazy. I've got to get some sleep here. It's louder than it's ever been. I'm wondering if we should call some...
I phoned the Coast Guard. They said that there was no submarine or anything like that. I am more paranoid than most people, so I was sure that it was the CIA that had sort of tapped into my houseboat for some reason.
They brought in a scientific team to investigate, headed by acoustics and vibration expert Frank Ubach.
Most of the people in the government agencies who were contacted thought that this was just another case of the Sausalito houseboaters being a bunch of crazy people. It wasn't so.
They tested the sound's levels inside the houseboats.
We were able to witness the noise inside one houseboat, and we recorded it.
5 dBA over ambient, no doubt about it.
Good and clear, no problem.
We started trying to think what kind of machinery is only operated during the summer, what kind of machinery is only used at night, what could it possibly be?
Night after night, the sound worked on the weary houseboaters like Chinese water torture.
As it grew worse and I couldn't sleep at night, my imagination really went sort of wild on me, and I thought it was almost like a James Bond thing. We all really suspected that it was some sort of a secret, something that was terrible and terrifying.
The sound detectives spent their summer nights trolling the bay with an underwater microphone, but they couldn't find what was causing the noise.
Starting to pick up a little bit of hum.
Real localized.
We found the hot spot in September, about 6 weeks into the investigation. Whatever it is, it's got to be a source right there. It can't be a reflection.
We all wanted to hear it because it was 10, 20 times as loud as anything we'd heard before, right over this one little concentrated spot.
I proceeded to row out there. It got louder and louder, and I realized that I was right on top of it. Whatever it was, I was in about 4 foot of water, and it was within a 6 foot radius for sure.
Come daylight, they returned to check out the hot spot.
I wonder what the heck is down there. Tim was able to get a friend of his, yet another volunteer, to come down with scuba gear. The only thing that we found was a men working sandwich sign and an old battery.
That's about it.
Why don't you take the probe here and probe down into the depression, see if you can feel anything.
Okay. Give it a shot.
The whole bottom there is quite silty, and in probing, he lost the conduit. It just disappeared, perhaps into the mouth of the dragon that was making the noise. We didn't know.
No authority could tell me where it was coming from. None of my neighbors could tell me where it was coming from. My imagination just really ate into my soul. There could have been a sunken ship under my houseboat, or it might be some sort of an alien communication.
Aliens, monsters, and spy paraphernalia, the stuff that headlines are made of. The media pounced on the humming crisis, and a tip soon led the team to a professor who thought he had an answer.
Yeah. There was this fish that made a buzzing noise like that he was familiar with. Have you actually heard this fish yourself? Can I play you a tape recording we made? I thought, it's not possible. No animal can make a noise that sounds that mechanical. What do you think? When I played this noise to Professor Crane, and I referred to it several times as noise, he was disturbed, and he said, please, don't call it noise, it's their song.
Was it really just the love song of a lonely toadfish desperate to form a duet? Frank Eubank went to consult the Steinhardt Aquarium's director, Dr. John McCosker.
If this is the noise that you hear underwater during the summer in Sausalito, and then I listened to it, it had to be Perictes notatus, the toadfish. But proving it to the public was something else.
It's not as dirty as Sausalito Harbor. He's going to have to get used to clear water.
Frank Eubank and I got together and we tried to see if we could get the fish to make the noise, overlay the sound signatures, and aha, prove it. Simple as that.
Look at the sounds of his brethren up here.
We tried a number of things. We left the fish in the dark, we probed it, we encouraged it. Didn't work. Couldn't get it to do it. I think the last thing it wanted to do was to make romantic love calls trying to attract a female.
Maybe he's not in the mood. Maybe he's already hummed out. You never know.
Did the demon hum really come from a fish? They couldn't seem to prove it, and without proof, it was just another theory.
Marjorie, we got the tape from Professor Crane.
Oh, great.
Is this our tape over here?
Yes, it is.
Finally, a documented recording of a toadfish was found. But would it match the harbor recording of the tormenting noise?
We looked at them on the analyzer, and they matched up like fingerprints.
Fish.
These fish are brothers.
Unbelievable.
Bay Area Wire Service.
We'd been looking for this thing for over a year, put in hundreds of hours, and at last, here we've got it, and it's this little tiny fish. None of us would have believed at the outset that that was the source of the noise.
That night, after I heard about it, I went to bed and the noise was still just as loud. It didn't bother me. In fact, I used it as a mantra. As I was going to sleep, I said, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. They're making love, they're making love, they're making love, they're making sex is good, sex is good, sex is good.
Now that the bay's getting healthier, toadfish are coming back, and they're going to be making a lot more noise. And the more noise they make, the more toadfish they make, and a lot of the noise is going to get from year to year to year, and I don't think there's a darn thing you can do about it, except enjoy them.
The day that it came out in the papers was absolutely like a celebration. We felt so good about it that a toadfish has become a mascot of the Floating Homes Association. The toadfishes are here to stay, and I can live with that.